I Was a Teenage Slasher is a horror coming-of-age sort of novel by Stephen Graham Jones. I really enjoyed his Indian Lake trilogy and The Only Good Indians. The Only Good Indians is not a slasher, it's like a supernatural, but it's like one of the best horror books I've read. And the Indian Lake trilogy is on and off, but I still enjoyed them overall. This one, didn't really quite enjoy. This one is about Tolly Driver. He is a teenager, gawky, 17-year-old nerd sort of type, and the beginning of the film, he sneaks into a party for older students, gets drunk and pisses off some older teens, so they bully him, and they are attacked by a slasher villain who's set up earlier in the film. However, he gets infected with an open wound on his head or something, and he finds himself transforming almost like a werewolf into a slasher villain of his own. That's why he's a teenage slasher. But the framing device of this book is a lot different from others. Instead, he is almost writing a memoir of sorts, so he's like an adult, and he's talking about the time he did his murders back in the day. And that sort of saps out the suspense because he's telling you how many people he's killed, so when you do the math, you already know what's going to happen, really. And the fact that he's like, you're not really sure if he's writing it in prison or if he's free, so that adds a little bit of suspense. But overall, this book meanders a lot. It's mostly focusing on him and his buddy Amber. He's white, she's native, and she's like trying to go to school, and he's like dealing with his transformation, and he wants to get revenge in the same way that the other slasher villain did earlier in the book, and he can't. They sort of add some interesting world building with. They almost treat slasher villains as almost like an infection, something that you can get, something you have to do, and like you can develop a sixth sense. So there's a lot of fun sort of playing around with that, because we haven't really seen that in a book or movie before with slashers, where you sort of are in the shoes of one, but not like emotionally, well emotionally and physically, and like almost like it's like a werewolf transformation. He turns and he's like, I have to like kill the teenagers that hurt me or whatever, and anyone who gets in the way. There were some parts at the end I didn't like how how certain things happened and played out with the police. Really lazy writing. They should have played around more with that, but I did like the vibe, and like it was really short, so it wasn't like too awful, but I just felt like it didn't have enough story going on, or they should have at least punched up the ending a little bit. So this one is, I feel it's a little bit more reflective and emotional than it needed to be, which is okay, but you're getting something very new. You're getting a coming-of-age story, but it's like you're a slasher, you're in the shoes of a slasher villain, so it's very unique in that regard, and the world building stuff is pretty cool. But overall, it was okay. I didn't quite love it, I didn't quite hate it, so I'm giving it a 2.5 out of 5.